Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to talk about how to apply resin to your cookies. First, you're going to start out with a food scale. Go ahead and turn it on really quick. And we're going to use a silicone beaker. This is going to be able where the resin will be able to just kind of peel off once it dries. Go ahead and hit the tare button so that way it evens it out to 0. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our hardener and our resin. We're going to be using equal parts of these as we measure this out. So I'll go ahead, I've already shooken these up, so I'm going to go ahead and apply some of this in here. We just pour a little bit and keep note of how much you poured because you're going to have to apply the same exact amount of the hardener in there. This is just me starting with the resin, but I'm going to go ahead and take it to 10 just to make it even and pretty. Okay, now that I've done that, we're going to go ahead and apply the hardener. Oh, but first we're going to hit the tare so that it zeroes it out so that we can keep our track of our numbers better. Again, I've already shooken this up, so let's go ahead and just put our hardener in here. Again, we're taking it to 10. A little bit more, we're almost there. All right, now that we have that, we're gonna put that aside. Sometimes these bottles leak a little bit, so I like to keep them on top of a paper plate, just in case. So I have this electric stir thing, which you can obviously use a silicone-based stick or a popsicle stick or whatever you need as long as you're mixing it. Try not to overmix it. I think I went a little bit too much on this one because the more you mix it, the more bubbles you're gonna get, and bubbles are not friendly when it comes to resining cookies. I'll go ahead and get some of this excess off of here. If I can remember how to turn this thing off. There we go. All right, so we got lots of bubbles here. We're gonna go ahead and put our scale off to the side because we're done with that. As you kind of see as I kind of shake this up, there's a lot of bubbles in here. One thing that I kind of can do is put a little bit of heat. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but a little bit of heat on top of it can help pop some of the tiny bubbles. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't do it very long though because chemicals and fire, not friends. But just kind of shaking it up, try to get the bubbles to the top so that they're not all mixed in, so I can kind of see if I can pop some of them. All right, we're shaking that up a little bit more, getting it ready. And then we're going to move on. Now, one thing I did get was some disposable paintbrushes and some red Solo cups. This is just a really easy way to place your cookies on top and kind of let them dry without them sitting on the ground. Sometimes if a little bit of the resin comes over the edge, you wouldn't want your cookies to be glued to the bottom of your whatever you're doing on. I have a silicone mat underneath this. So again, these are disposable paintbrushes that I got from Walmart. You can throw them away as soon as you're done. And I'm just putting a very thin layer on the front top of the cookie. The thinner the layer, the easier it's going to be to not have so much obvious bubbles or little bits that are stuck up. Because once this dries, it is there and there is no getting it off. So we're just going to kind of dust this on here lightly. I really like the way the resin kind of magnifies the colors. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but when you're doing this in person, you'll be able to see it. It kind of makes the colors pop a little bit more because they can get kind of dull once they dry. So we'll keep applying that. Again, very light coat. Try to make it as even as possible. We're balancing this off the top of the Solo cup. Try to get a little bit of the edges. Sometimes I do a bit of the edges on the first round and then other edges on the second round, because once this top part dries in about 24 to 48 hours, is usually how long I let it sit for, I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do the back. Now again, we want it really dry because this stuff is basically like glue, and I wouldn't want the top of my cookie to stick to the Solo cup once I have it turned upside down. So go ahead and keep applying a little bit more to the side. I try to be very thin on the side though, because it will kind of drip and I don't want that to get anywhere. All right, now that we've have that, I'm gonna put that off to the side. I have one over here that I've already done the front of it on. You can see that nice glossy finish up the top of it. And so we're gonna go ahead and there is already a little bit on here, but I'm going to do another coat because I wasn't happy with the first coat. So we're gonna go ahead and apply, kind of like I mentioned earlier. You really want to make sure that front part is dry because now that I've turned it over, if there's any still wet spots on the front, it's going to basically glue itself to that cup and then you've basically ruined your entire cookie. It's not going to clean up well. So I'm going to go ahead and get the sides. Again, very light on the sides because I don't want it to drip to the front of my cookie either. So very gentle as we go. Here we go. Little by little. Now, again, these are disposable paintbrushes to me. They're cheap because I'm not going to try to clean these things. I'm going to throw them away as soon as I'm done with them. The silicone beakers that I use there, those will dry a little bit and then I'll just peel off the extra foam. And that's resining cookies.